My name's Tara Taylor. I'm a lawyer. I've been working in the legal industry for almost 20 years. I originally came onto the board because of my legal background. I've been in the chair role now for 2 years. One of the first things I did actually was run the recruitment process to appoint our current principal, which was an interesting item to start with.
My name's Zoe Hart. I'm the principal of Inner Sydney Montessori School. I've been a teacher for about 18 years, and out of that 18 years I've been a deputy or a head teacher for about 7 of those years.
If you want to run a very extensive process, which we did, we thought it was critical to run something that was very thorough so that we got the right person for the role. We didn't want to be recruiting another principal in a year or two's time because we'd made the wrong decision, so we thought it was worth putting as much resource into as possible to ensure we got the right outcome. And I think we underestimated at the start how much work was involved in getting to that outcome, and I think as we went on, we realised more and more how important it was having a partner like Smart Leaders to guide us through each phase of the process as we got to the next stage, but also to take on the work that was involved really over 6 months, which was a very extensive amount of work.
As a leader, I recognise the huge role that I play in making sure that staff feel valued, and they are the most important aspect that we have at our school. So here at Inner Sydney Montessori School, we have devoted a lot of time and energy into building a collaborative and cohesive staff.
My name is Rasmussen, and I've been teaching for 13 years. My training is in Montessori, and I have a specific Montessori STEM training, so I'm really interested in teaching science, technology, engineering, and math.
Before Laura even arrived, we were already on pretty good terms, and we were able to have a good chat with each other.
We were put in contact with Smart Leaders and Smart Teachers because of the Association of Independent Schools suggested that you might be someone that we should talk to. But what we were looking for in a recruiter was someone who could work very closely with us and keep us the school council very involved in the process, but do a lot of the work in delivering our sort of recruitment strategy for that role.
So I'd always wanted to come to Australia, but it was definitely a giant leap in deciding to actually do this. I was able to ask questions about cost of living, housing near the school, and more personal questions that maybe from other recruitment agencies, they wouldn't have the time to do that. So I felt that Smart really helped to answer my personal questions along with my professional questions, and that I knew that I was getting good advice. I think Smart did give me a little bit of an edge because I knew that they had placed other people at the school before me. And so I knew that the school was very comfortable using Smart and that they knew that you were a reputable company. It was really helpful using Smart because as a teacher, I didn't need to pay a fee where other recruitment agencies would have me pay that fee to be a part of their company and even just to view any of the job vacancies.
I think that here at Inner Sydney Montessori, we are probably in a harder position than most schools. The Montessori community is very small, and recruiting Montessori teachers is exceptionally hard. So we have had to look overseas as well as interstate, and that's been a really tricky process.
As a school council, our resources are somewhat limited, and we wanted to run an incredibly extensive process to ensure that we got the right person, and we wanted that to be extensive from start to finish. So we wanted to go out to a wide market and see what candidates we got. Getting the engagement pack right was critical for us because we wanted to attract a certain type of person to the role. We worked very closely with Smart on ensuring that our criteria was reflected in that, but also that it reflected something that the candidates would be interested in, and obviously that was the aspect that Smart, having interviewed many candidates over the years, would understand. By
using Smart and continuing our relationship with Smart, I see that we're able to tap into groups of people that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do on our own. So particularly the international market.
I never felt like I was waiting or I wasn't in the loop. Smart made sure that I knew what was going on and where I was in the process so that I wasn't sitting questioning and wondering, which can often happen with other recruitment agencies. One of the most important things about using Smart Leaders for us was that we were able to get an extensive international reach, particularly in the UK and America.
If we'd used another domestic recruitment firm, we wouldn't have been able to achieve that. That was critical for us because Zoe was a standout candidate from the start of the process. She came from the UK. We wouldn't have been able to attract her to the school had we not used a firm like Smart Leaders, which had international reach.
When I started the recruitment process my own recruitment process of coming over here to Australia, and Smart was obviously a key factor in my move. I was introduced to inner Sydney Montessori school, and straight away I knew that this was somewhere that I wanted to be, and I was absolutely blown away by how the children were learning, and I realised that absolutely this is what I wanted, how I wanted the rest of my career to be based in.
I feel that working at inner Sydney Montessori school is the perfect fit for me because they're able to provide an amazing, authentic Montessori environment. And that was my background and my training when I came to Smart, because I was looking specifically for this type of school. And when I arrived, it was exactly what I had hoped for and expected. And all the information that Smart gave me helped me to feel comfortable and confident in knowing, moving across the world, that this was where I should be.
When you do an interview process, you never quite know until the person starts as to whether you've got the right person. And with Smart Leaders, we ran an extremely extensive process. We did every check that we could think of. We did psychological testing, we did multiple reference checks, we did all the government testing, police and working with children and other testing in Australia and also in the country where Zoe had worked. We spoke to teachers from her school, we spoke with her board chair. It was a very extensive process, but until the person's on the ground and settled into the role, you never know if they are the right person. With Zoe, she has exceeded our expectations. Zoe has the attributes to continue tackling those challenges as she's proven over the last year, and the school council couldn't be more delighted with the outcome of the process with Smart Leaders. We have all sorts of different families from all over Sydney who come to our school for that reason, but because we're based in Balmain, a lot of the families are from the inner west. It's a very supportive community of parents and children. The children are obviously the core focus. Using a recruiter with education specialisation was critical to our process. In particular with Smart Leaders, they have the TES platform, which teachers, deputies and principals from around the world access. If we had used another recruitment firm, particularly one that wasn't experienced in education, we wouldn't have been able to access those education-specific forums, and really that's where we got most of our candidates from. There was no way we could have run such an extensive process on our own, or even with a national recruiter. We thought that the recruiter's role would be mainly administrative and that they would be helping us out in terms of taking on the workload on an administrative side, but Smart Leaders brought so much more to that process.
The main difference with Montessori as opposed to traditional teaching is that children are given an awful lot more choice and freedom in their learning. We work very much on creating children who are comfortable in their own skin. We now know that most people have 2 or 3 careers throughout their life, and we need to be preparing children for that. It's just not good enough to give them knowledge. We have to prepare them with a skill set too.
It was really helpful because I knew that the people from Smart have educational and teaching backgrounds. It helped me to have more confidence as well that I was being placed in the perfect school for me, because I knew that the people I was communicating with, that they were people that understood the workload and the expectations that are on teachers, and especially knowing that they had those experiences with the schools already, that they could put me in the perfect fit.